Rockstar's put out some great money bonuses over the past few weeks, which is why I spent 10 hours grinding GTA Online to see how much money I could make. But to make things more interesting, I also challenged myself to use 10 different money methods in that 10-hour time span. So with that being said, let's get into it. So of course, the first thing I did was a Cayo Perico heist, and because I haven't done it in weeks, I got very lucky and got the pink diamond as my primary target. But not only that, I also got Coca-Cola as my secondary loot, so for the first money method of the day, in about 50 minutes time, I made just under $1.6 million. And that right away was the first money method of the video. So because I did the Cayo Perico heist as a solo player, it meant I had a 2.5 hour cooldown, so I was going to fill it up with a few different ways to make money. The first is the Dr. Dre contract, which is essentially a large heist. You have 3 different mini heists and then 2 finale missions. It's accessed through the agency, and because of that, I decided to do the other 2 money methods with that business. So before doing the Dr. Dre contract, I did a security contract for $81,000. At the time, they were double money. Then I got right into the first leak of the contract, and right after I started up my first payphone hit, which is essentially a short assassination mission, which pays out $85,000. And right away I was onto my 4th money method of the video. Now because payphone hits have a 48-minute cooldown, I decided to just finish off the rest of the Dr. Dre contract. The second leak, which is usually the hardest one to do, was made a lot easier because I used an RPG in the finale and used the vigilante to chase down and down the billionaire's helicopter fairly easily. Once I got the phone, all I had to do was boost into the army base, take one of the fighter jets, and fly back to the agency. So the second leak was easy and quick, but so was the third leak and the first finale mission. But unfortunately, when I was almost completely done with the Dr. Dre contract, my internet cut out. So I wasted about 10 to 15 minutes there, but I went back in, redid the mission, and made my $1 million. Now at this point, I decided to take a break in recording for a couple days, and when I came back, I then started up another payphone hit for $85,000 and cleaned out my wall safe, which had built up 150 grand at my nightclub because I had max popularity for 3 in-game days. But not only that, it was now a very exciting week because for the first time in about a year or maybe over a year, vehicle cargo was double money. And this business is by far one of the most fun to do in the entire game. Of course, I need a CEO office and a vehicle cargo warehouse for that, which I already have, and so because of that, I went right into some sourcing missions. Now the way the business works is you go out, you source a vehicle or steal a vehicle, bring it back to a warehouse, and then you could sell it for a profit. There's 3 different types of vehicles, standard, mid, and top range, and they all pay out a different amount of money, with top range paying out the most. Now while the source missions are usually random, there is a way to guarantee that I get top range vehicles, and that is by piling up 10 standard and 10 mid-range vehicles in the garage and never selling them. So I kept doing source missions until I finally got a top range vehicle, which was the T20. Because it's double money, I was then able to sell it for 200 grand in an invite only session, and while I'd hoped to get $160,000 in total profit, unfortunately the sell mission didn't quite go as planned. Because if you guys don't know, with this business, if the car incurs any kind of damage, that money gets taken out of your total profit, and that goes for the source missions and the sell missions. So in the end, I probably made only $130,000. Now, I originally did it this way because there's a lot of fun in trying out new cars and driving them around. But from then on out, I decided to use a cargo bob, have it attached to the cars and fly them around because that's another easier way to do it. But with that being said, I did one last hurrah without the cargo bob and sold another top range vehicle for 160k. And of course, doing vehicle cargo made this the 5th money method for the video. Next up, I did a second Cayo Perico heist, and once again, I got the pink diamond. I was very lucky. This time, I didn't get as good secondary loot, but in the end, I made $1.5 million. And this time, for the 2.5 hour cooldown, I decided to only grind vehicle cargo. Now, while I'd love to sell the cars back to back to back, there is a 20-minute cooldown between sell missions, so in the meantime, I had to fill it up with other money methods. So in this time, I ended up doing 2 payphone hits, 1 sightseer, which is a VIP mission. It is currently double money this week, and I did an ammo drop-off for the bunker, as well as the HSW time trial for 250k. But not only that, I also sourced a bunch of cars and sold a T20, an Osiris, and an FMJ. Now for one of these cars, I did try to sell it in a public lobby with 25 or more people, because when I do that, I will get an extra 100k in profit. But unfortunately, it glitched out on the first car I tried to sell, so I lost out $300,000 on that sale alone. And so I only decided to do one more public lobby sale, before moving back to private lobbies. And with that, I was now at 8 different money methods used in the video. Once again, I took a small break, and when I came back, I started up another Cayo Perico heist, except this time I got tequila and bad secondary loot, so I only made just over $1 million. But right away, I got back into car sales. I sold an Osiris for 160k profit, this time because I was using the cargo bob, so I incurred no damage. And during the cooldown, I did a payphone hit for 85k and an auto shop contract. This time I did the bank contract for 160k. And right after, I sold a T20. Now at this point, I had 30 minutes left, and I actually did plan on selling my acid lab for 500k, but I gotta be completely honest, I completely forgot about it and instead went right into a Union Depository contract and made 270k. Still great money, but it could have been double the amount. After that, I went into my final car delivery with the 811, but unfortunately my game crashed once again. And with only about a minute left to spare, that was the end of the money grind. So at the beginning of this video, I had $28.48 million, and by the end of it, I had 35.85, meaning I made almost $7.5 million in 10 hours. I also was able to complete the challenge of using 10 different money methods if you consider 2 different auto shop contracts as 2 different money methods. But despite not making tons of money in this video, I did have a ton of fun, and I do suggest you guys taking a similar approach when you guys play, because I felt like for the first time in a while, I had a ton of fun playing the game. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.